Captain Stephen Parent is a 25-year veteran of the Pawtucket Fire Department, and for the past 2 years has served as the city's fire marshal. He makes $64,000 a year. 16 months ago, Parent added his girlfriend's daughter to his family medical plan, joining his ex-wife and 2 daughters. We asked the captain about it as he arrived for work earlier this month.
We wanted to ask you about your health benefits and why you put your girlfriend's daughter on your family plan last year.
Because we were planning on getting married, and unfortunately they had some family issues, a serious accident in the family. It kind of pushed it all back, so that's basically what it came down to.
A year and a half later, Parent still hasn't gotten married, although we spotted his city-issued car regularly at his girlfriend's house in Smithfield. The girlfriend's daughter was on the family plan for nearly a year, costing the city thousands of dollars in claims.
Did you get approval to do that, though?
Yes.
From your department?
From the personnel office.
And how does that work, though? Don't you actually have to be married to put somebody on your family plan?
I questioned it. I told them what we were in the process of doing, and they didn't cause any issues. Well, they didn't bring up any issues.
Who'd you get approval from then?
Personnel office.
Anybody in specific?
Whoever I had talked to at the time.
But you don't remember?
I believe it was girl in charge. Maria, I believe, is who I spoke with.
We turned it over to the police department because, there's too many different stories.
Pawtucket Mayor Donald Grebian told us the city is getting conflicting stories from Parent and the former head of human resources who handled the captain's application for benefits in July 2011. She has since left the city. The mayor says the police department has assigned a detective to investigate.
Clearly, he should have never been put on the Blue Cross, no matter what the circumstances. If for someone to get on Blue Cross, they have to provide, if it's a marriage certificate, because there's some story going around about that it was a marriage, potentially going to be married in August. We've gone back to the former employee who put him on, had the discussion with her. There are dual conflicting stories out there.
But Grebian says the former human resources director may not have been getting the straight story from Parent when he approached her, which is why the mayor has called in the police.
What did the former employee say?
What the former employee said is that she remembers it happened, but they were under the presumption that this was his daughter from a previous marriage.
The city said that it was okay before you actually got married to put her on the plan.
Yes.
There should have been some sort of documentation that A, was married if that was it. B, if this was a daughter, there has to be some sort of documentation. We don't have any of the backup. When we talk to Blue Cross tells us that because we're self-insured, they go based on us. So we put it in. We entered it into the system for whatever reason. So that's what we're trying to backtrack as to why and wasn't misrepresented back then.
The city of Pawtucket is self-insured, meaning it pays directly for all claims made on its policies. Grebian says the girlfriend's daughter cost the city just shy of $3,000 for the 10 months she was on Parent's family plan, including almost $2,800 for claims to Blue Cross, $115 in pharmacy claims, and a $72 administrative fee the city paid to Blue Cross. Last week, 8 days after we interviewed him, Captain Parent wrote a check to reimburse the city for the girl's medical expenses.
In fact, you put her on your plan for a while, right?
She was on my plan from time they opened enrollment until actually I realized that I said, well, we haven't done what we were going to do, so I took her off.
But Parent did not add on his girlfriend, even though he said they planned to be married within a couple of months. Just the daughter. And Parent could have added on the daughter after the marriage took place.
Your life situation changes not always in concert with the open enrollment period.
Absolutely.
So if you get married and that changes and it's mid-year, certainly the city or the insurance company is going to say, all right, now it's changed. That's one of the exceptions for you to be
Absolutely
able to come
right.
on.
Correct.
And so are you saying that instead of anticipating saying, I'm going to get married, it's going to be a couple months down the line, should have waited till it actually happened?
Absolutely, and the employee shouldn't have been putting him in whatsoever. But as we talked to the former employee is saying that her recollection was, and I haven't spoken with her, but getting it secondhand, is that her recollection was that the employee came in And she was under the impression that this was his daughter from a previous marriage because at that time his ex-wife was still being covered.
And the city's application form, which is similar to this Blue Cross form, leaves little room for ambiguity about the relationship of a dependent.
There are two boxes there, right? And it says, what is the relationship?
Correct.
Son
Or daughter.
daughter.
Correct.
Not stepdaughter, or even a stepdaughter probably could qualify.
Right.
Not a soon-to-be stepdaughter because we're getting married in October.
Correct.
The form seems pretty clear.
Absolutely, and that's what we're looking at as well, is we clearly know that this should have never happened. They shouldn't have been put on. And if they were under the impression, and the story holds true, that it was going to be that they were getting married in August, then they should have came in with a marriage certificate. If you went in there, even with the story of having the intent of being married in August, and you said, okay, filing deadline, the open enrollment is July, it's a month time, you still have to know, in my mind, as an individual, if something changed and you didn't get married in August, the bulb's got to go off.
So where does it go from here?
If we can prove there was intent, clearly we're going to, go after whatever recourse it is. In my opinion, it's above the $500 rule, so it could be as aggressive as a felony.
But we won't know that until the police investigation is complete. And in the meantime, Captain Parent remains on the job. In Pawtucket, Jim Hummel for the Hummel Report.